morning. This isn't Vietnam.
No, it's definitely not.
No.
It was a nice night last night and calm, and we get to discuss video games. I would not make a comparison.
Yeah, it's pretty far from Vietnam as things get, almost, because it's cold. There's no jungle really anywhere. We pretty much live in a desert. Yeah, it's not really the same at all.
I think that I would like to go there.
I would go. There are very few places in the world that I would refuse to go if given a trip there for free.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's some moral implications of going places like North Korea that I would second guess.
Right. Like I said, there are definitely some places I would have to think very hard about going, but I don't think Vietnam is on that list.
Yeah. I just don't think I've been to a Southeast Asian country yet. I think the mainland Asia, I've only been as far south as China.
I definitely haven't.
Yeah.
I want to. There's lots of places down there that are really cool. I hear Kuala Lumpur is really cool, Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
So, who knows? But that's neither here nor there because this is a podcast, in theory, about video games, sort of, sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. Last episode wasn't really about video games. It was mostly about shopping on Black Friday.
Well, like I said, sometimes, it's the truth comes out sometimes that
yeah.
Really, it's called We Were Gamers because we don't really have all that much time to play video games sometimes.
No, instead we do things like hook up new Nest thermostats, which is very easy.
Oh, really? I'm interested. I have a thermostat install ahead of me sooner than later here, and I'm interested about your experiences.
The most important part here is that when somebody, this is a Silicon Valley thing, so they must have disrupted the thermostat, right?
I don't agree with that statement.
But somebody comes to the game new, right? And they rethink at least the simplest things like the base plate. I don't know if you've ever taken your thermostat off and you've seen the wires underneath and how they connect to your base plate, which is what the thermostat sits on and what powers your thermostat and your entire system. It's basically.
Okay. I don't know that I've ever seen one.
Oh, okay. So you take that thing off and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe about 5 wires in there, maybe 6.
Okay.
5 or 6 wires. Depending on if you have central air or not. Which you do, but most people, may not. And usually they're all in a line, all connected to its terminal, kind of almost like your power panel.
Okay, sure.
They're just all snugged into one terminal, and you screw them all down. They're really very tiny wires, and you kind of have to have like a needle nose pliers to get in there and make sure you got everything nice and tight.
Okay.
This Nest thing, is much bigger in terms of the terminal space, and they redesigned it so that everything's kind of in a wheel. They use the entire base plate rather than one tiny little section to be as cheap as possible with the least wiring possible, right?
Okay.
They wire the entire base plate with a huge amount of space to make all the terminals really easy to access. So I went from having like needle nose pliers to, get everything out and like adjusted and tight and getting the old plate off to just like being able to use my fingers and shove things into the terminals.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Was really refreshing. And then you just snap the little thing, just like a normal thermostat. You just snap the Nest onto the base plate, and then you go through a much longer setup than a normal thermostat.
Yeah. Where
you like hook it up to the internet and everything else. And then, I already have an account with them because I have their cameras and whatever.
Right.
But, and then I just go on to, you can like go onto your phone and set all the cool settings, like have it learn for you or do whatever. And then even inside my app, they sent me the message like, hey, don't you want your rebate from SoCal Edison? You should just click this link and we'll do it all through the app right now.
And you're like, yes, I do want free money, please. Thank you.
All I had to do was like go look up my account number with Edison and just, there you go. Okay, we'll send you an email when they've got it all connected.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
I am very excited to hear that because I will have to do that all soon as well.
It was I was able to do it in the amount of time that kept my daughter's attention.
That's pretty impressive. Your daughter's what, 3? 2.5?
Yeah, basically almost 3. Yeah.
Okay. That's a short attention span right there.
Yeah. So, if you can do it in that amount of time, good on you.
Awesome. Well, that's rad. So how is the app? The app is cool. It works. It does what it's requested to do.
It works for me. I've found that it does exactly what I would expect it to. You open the app, you scroll to the little thermostat inside your home, because you have a little home menu.
Mm-hmm.
You click on it, and it's like, how do you want to adjust the temperature?
You've got dials or buttons or whatever to dial it up and down. And
Yep. You just kind of swipe it up and down, and that's it.
Cool.
It's really simple.
Does it allow you to do not just even not smart quote thermostats will allow you to set stuff based on time of day or whether you're home or away or whatever? Yeah,
in the app or on the thermostat, there's it looks like a calendar, and you can kind of do a daily schedule as much as you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can set home and away temperatures, and then you can just go in your app and you can literally tap home and away, and everything in your app has home and away settings. So the cameras, the thermostat, everything.
Oh, that's cool.
So that it'll readjust everything based on whether or not you have home and away settings. And then also, supposedly, you can also put it in learn mode. So every day, just kind of when you get up, when you get home, when you go to bed, all these things, you just adjust the thermostat. And then after a week or whatever in learn mode, it starts to do it for you. And you can keep micro adjusting it if you think it's not right, but it should start to be pre-adjusting things for you.
So it sort of learns how you would normally set it over that week, and then kind of just emulates that. Very cool.
Oh, look, they're usually home on Saturday, so I'll make sure the temperature's lower or higher or whatever.
Well, I am excited to hear how that does for you in the billing department.
That was fun. And I got my speakers hooked up too, and they are loud.
Okay. These are the reference speakers that you got?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have them on physical, maybe 20% of the physical volume on the speaker, and my computer running at about 10% of the normal computer volume, and I still have to turn down apps individually.
Wow.
Yeah. They're loud.
That's really loud. I think I run my computer's output volume at 80 or 75% all the time, and then I just turn stuff down in headphones or on the speakers manually. I think my current speakers on this computer, which are not on right now, but if they were, would be at 20% or something, pretty low.
Yeah.
Just because they get really loud, especially with the subwoofer.
They sound great, and just got to fiddle with how I have them adjusted for volume and everything. But that's my Black Friday roundup.
Awesome, man. Well, I talked about mixing concrete last time. I haven't done a lot more since then, other than I dug a hole.
This is a reminder that JJ is in the midst of the horseshoe pit saga.
Yes, saga. Hopefully, will be coming to a close sooner than later, but we'll see. So, Andrew, let's talk about sand. Have you ever thought about sand?
I think about sand when I go to the beach.
Okay, that's a good time to think about it. There's usually a lot of it there.
Playgrounds have sand, and so you have to dump it out of people's shoes before you get in the car.
Yep.
That's another important good time. Thing to remember for all you aspiring parents out there. If your kid has sand playgrounds, dump their shoes. Remember to dump their shoes.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Well, as a person who's aspiring to build a horseshoe pit, what do you put around the pin, as they call it, the stake? Well, if you want to be all fancy about it, you put clay. But I'm not fancy, and I don't want to deal with maintaining clay, so we're going to put sand. And I discovered through a little bit of searching that there are different kinds of sand that you might want to put into a thing in and around your home. I did not realize sand had like quality levels, but here we are. Is in the year of our Lord 2017, nothing can be easy or simple. Just like, give me the sand that you would put in a thing. No. Which grade of sand do you want? I don't know, man.
Yeah. Who knows what type of sand they want?
I want sand, man. I'm not like, I don't know. What? So I immediately retreated and went to the internet and did some searching. And there are like a few different types. There's like sand that you could use for like construction purposes. It's like really gritty and coarse.
So it's like grain size, basically, is what you're talking about?
Yeah. Oh, well, like also like, and then there's like color and then like the fineness of the sand, right? It's more like, do you want like sand of a specific like shade of like tan, or do you want like weird colored stuff? And then do you want like how coarse or fine do you want the sand to be, right?
Right. I've just thought of another issue that you may encounter. You may need to build some sort of like Wiccan hex scenario around your sand pit. Because as I recall, you have a few wild cats roaming the neighborhood.
Yep.
Sand and cats.
Yeah.
Do you know what they do in sand?
Yeah, I have a good plan.
Okay, good.
I thought of this also. So, yeah. But while I was lamenting this sand problem to a coworker of mine, he said, "Yeah, I have this like, he's redoing his backyard also." So we were talking about gardening and landscaping and stuff,
as you do on We Were Gamers.
The homeowner's minute going strong, even in the workforce. And we were talking about that, and he's like, "Yeah, I've been redoing my backyard too. The previous owner had this like play thing, like one of these play sets made out of wood with like a slide and stuff or whatever, and he doesn't want it because it's falling apart, and he doesn't want to like restore it. So he took it down and sold it on Craigslist to people who refurbish those things, apparently.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And it's like, they're like, "Oh yeah, we collect all these parts because a lot of them are good and the wood is just bad. And then we just toss all the wood and reassembled it with new wood and sell them again," right? He was like, "Great, you guys take this, I don't want it." But then he has all this sand in his backyard, and he doesn't know what to do with it. And I was like, aha!
I have a friend.
I have a plan. The friend is me. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I have like, I'll bring some in tomorrow and you can look at it, see if it's like the kind you want or whatever." I'm like, "I don't even know what the kind that I want is, but yes, please do this." So I got him to bring me a few sample bags of it.
So you're literally in the middle of the workplace checking out sand samples, I picture you kind of like a Miami Vice detective, like sticking the knife in the bag. And
to be clear, we were in the parking lot, so it looked much better. Where he'd open the trunk and be like, "You want some sand, man?"
Oh, no. Yeah. And that's how JJ lost his job over sand.
Oh, no. Anyway, so he very kindly agreed to give me as much sand as I want because he wants to get rid of it, and this is way easier.
Yeah. Free sand is best sand.
Yeah, that's what I said. And he's like, "Yeah, I filled a bunch of it into sandbags years ago because like there was a bunch of rain coming and whatever."
Smart.
And he had filtered that sand through like a strainer so that like a lot of the rocks and like seeds and stuff got taken out of it.
Yeah. Leaves and all the other junk that probably builds up in sand that's been outdoors forever.
Right. And he's like, "I have like 50 of these sandbags, and that's like not even half of the sand that's still sitting in my backyard." He's like, "If you just want to take some of these, like, you could do that." I'd be like, "All right, sweet." So I've got a few bags of that now to sort of see to like spread around the surface when I have it all ready. And then I can see kind of gauging from those few how many more I will need.
Nice.
To finish the project. So
you got some weekend work cut out for you?
Yes, I do.
All right. Well, is it time to get into the actual, like video game thing?
I mean, I guess. I don't know. We spent 45 minutes talking about Black Friday yesterday. So, I mean, not yesterday, whenever the last one was. But
yeah.
I mean, we could spend 20 more minutes talking about sand. Turn this into the sand cast if everyone really wants.
I've got like a rant about pipes we could go through, but I don't think anybody wants to hear about
wewergamers.com. Podcast at wewergamers.com if you want this to become a sand podcast.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, you know what's coming at a rapid clip, and we're having a hard time keeping up?
What?
Transmissions from Agent Zero Cool, man. They are headed in fast.
That's true.
So we got to do our best to keep up. So I think it's time that we pull up another transmission here and give it a listen. See how things are going after his unceremonious defeat against Darth somebody or other. Bandon?
Yeah, that sounds right. Bandon.
So, apparently, I am Revan.
Yes.
Spoilers.
I must say, this was so shocking. I didn't see this coming at all.
Is he sarcastic?
But, so. Yes, I am apparently the Dark Lord that everyone has been talking about this whole time. And this is the big reveal at the end of Act 2. What will we do? How can I continue knowing I used to be such a bad guy and now I'm not?
He doesn't sound very happy.
Yeah,
no, he doesn't.
Attack. Just found this out. Just fought Malik, who wasn't that hard. And now...
Sounds like he's in space.
Fend off these battleships.
Yeah.
I like that he's like, I just fought Malik, who wasn't that hard.
I am...
Yeah, Malik.
I've been Revan the whole time. Apparently had my mind destroyed.
I think
and did not remember all the bad I had done.
I think that reveal didn't maybe didn't age.
Such a shock. It wasn't like it was being implied repeatedly.
Okay. He is being sarcastic.
So it came out of nowhere. I am Revan.
Oh man, I guess it didn't age well.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, this
I thought it was one of the better Star Wars reveals.
The big, this kind of reminds me. I'm such a geek. In the original Star Wars, after Obi-Wan has been knocked down and Luke has to flee, he doesn't have any time to recover from this emotional wound because they have to save the ship from an onslaught of TIE fighters. That's what that scene was sort of like. Because I just found out I am Revan, and we're trying to escape, and we get attacked by Sith ships, and I have to just go right into it, even though I've gotten this.
It's really appealing to the classic cinema fans.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yes, she did.
Oh, another spoiler there.
Yeah, I guess spoilers for like a 20-year-old game.
Yeah, that game's pretty old. I don't feel like we have to do the spoiler warning for that thing. But it's kind of a. I think it's still a good reveal. I mean,
it's done very well. I remember at the time, the first time it happened, I was like, oh wow, what a cool twist.
Could have just kept that secret.
But I guess when you've played so many games and so many reveals and so many twists that you come to expect them, you know, that maybe KoTOR has lost that kind of edge it had at the time, where it was like, whoa, big twist in a game versus the stuff that was out, you know, like Doom 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything about being the Dark Lord?
No, I don't remember anything.
Do you remember anything about being the Dark Lord?
No, I don't remember anything. Not at all.
Then I don't think there's a problem. It seems to me that if you don't really remember anything about it already, then it doesn't really matter anymore. You are who you are now, right?
There's some, I don't know about that, morally.
That's some philosophy right there.
I mean, morally, like, if you don't remember you did a really bad thing, does it matter?
Betrayed before.
A bit like, what is the nature of consciousness, Andrew? We're like getting into some near automata stuff in here.
I see a friend who's been with us, thick and thin.
Yeah.
Proto-Nier.
Jeez, what a
Maybe. I don't know.
Mission has no hard feelings about me never using her in my missions. Mission in a mission. Aw, you too, big guy?
Dizzy and I will stick by you. We owe you our lives. We won't desert you now.
Thanks, guys.
This answers another question about which
Karth is just
Which
trying
direction
to
he
ruin
went.
this for me here.
Everyone knows it was Malik who gave the order to attack your people, Karth. You can't blame Revan for that.
Yeah.
Suppose you've proven yourself to be a friend of the Republic by your actions so far. But can I trust you? Can any of us?
Karth has trust issues. This has been well established. Yeah, the droids are
Karth does have trust issues.
Can we just name that the podcast that?
Karth has trust issues.
Yeah.
It's appropriate.
Is activating my deleted memory core.
Oh, HK.
Yes, the best party member.
Observation. That is unnecessary, Master. My intent is not
They put him in the
I am receiving no comment
MMO,
from the right
kind of.
Really?
Yeah, like a different version of him, not HK-47. After I've stopped playing, but it almost made me head back just to see observation.
Alright, so the droid is on my side.
Of course the droid's on your side. He likes
It's just Karth.
obliterate.
Droid loves murder. Yeah. Like, they could have named him Murderbot 9000.
Remember, we're talking about the Force here.
That might be a better episode title.
Himself could drop out of the sky, and I wouldn't bat an eyelash.
Good point.
Alright, so it's just Karth. Well, actually, this guy.
What about me? I already knew who you were. Though it wasn't my
Jolie Bindo.
better off that you know.
Oh yeah, the Grey Knight. Was this the first game that had a Grey Jedi? Because I remember thinking in the middle of that, it was like, oh wow, there's like a non-light side, dark side dude who just kind of exists. I guess we might be getting our actual official first Grey Jedi with late life Luke here this Christmas.
Who knows?
Okay, well,
Can't
apparently
trust any of that.
this
I mean,
news is
you just
going
mean
over
Grey because he's old.
swimmingly with my crew, all except for Karth. So I am Darth Revan. Apparently that is the big reveal of the game. So there you go. I am Darth Revan. Didn't see it coming at all. Signing off for now.
I feel like he's being a little facetious there, Andrew. I think maybe he did see it coming.
I really feel like maybe he knew.
Huh.
We got to talk to him about reading spoilers in advance before the next game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
I guess I don't remember it being as heavily implied as it was, but there were definitely seeds to like prep you for the fact that, you know, like people's memories could be erased and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
especially,
they definitely hint at it.
Yeah, especially with the Jolie Bindo, he's kind of like always on your case about like being evil, even though he's kind of...
and he's always like, you really shouldn't do that. That's evil. That's dark side stuff, you know?
Yeah, well, you don't think that the trailers for the new Star Wars are peek into the movie?
Oh, I'm sure that they are a peek in some way, but as we both know, trailers these days are intentionally cut to be misleading.
Yeah, well, except when they're not, and then you see the whole movie. So it's either like completely misleading.
Either we don't need to see Star Wars because we already saw it, or the trailer is cut misleadingly, and anything you think you know about the movie from watching the trailer is wrong.
Sure.
So I'm going to lean on that side because I don't think Disney would choose to show the whole movie up front, but who knows?
I'm going to lean on that side because that means it would be a good movie.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, he got through the big reveal, and he didn't stop playing. He was still playing, so...
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's so far at this point, I feel like he should just finish it. There can't be that much
I
more
really think
left.
there's only like 1 or 2 worlds left from here.
It's close, I think.
Because now that you know where Malik is, you have to like go chase down Malik, and I think your crew, like you get Karth back on your side by convincing him you're going to go take down Malik to avenge Bastila.
Right.
So That's as far as I remember. But anywho, we should talk about a game we played.
Yeah, we actually played a game together. Which
Woo!
the second time in the history of this podcast.
Right on. The new update hit for Battletech backers with multiplayer.
Yeah, the fabled, long-awaited multiplayer update has rolled out for everyone, and not just the double secret multiplayer people who wanted to help.
Right.
So now all people with beta access have access to the multiplayer, and we played a few rounds.
There were not many games being formed in the lobby. Then again, it was midnight on the West Coast, so I don't know that that's an accurate...
I believe they, even in their update email that they sent out to everyone announcing it, were like, hey, there's only so many backers. The chance of you signing on at any one time and seeing another person is going to be real low.
Yeah.
So here's this forum. Please come register your account. Post in the section about hey, I want to get some games started. You can find some community people to Voltron up with and play some games.
That's smart of them to have told people here you should really looking for game is over here.
Yeah, because if you and I both were not playing this game or had the desire to play this game, we would never have found a game.
I saw one lobby open the entire time we were sitting in there. So
yeah.
And it didn't go super smoothly. We had a little crashy poo.
It's still a beta.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoopsie. I don't know what was happening. I was spinning the map or something. And the game thought I was trying to change my resolution, and it freaked out the video card, and the entire thing crashed. So that was weird.
Yeah.
So I guess I technically lost the first game, even though I was wrecking you.
I think we can go ahead and say you won that first game pretty handily. I forgot some things about how heat works, and it didn't go good.
Yeah, you cannot leave a panther on top of a hill shut down due to heat.
Right, yes.
For my entire team to take called shots at.
I thought I didn't remember the difference between overheat warning and overheat shutdown. Mm-hmm. And I think I just saw it flashing. I'm like, oh, it's just the warning. It'll be fine. I'll take some damage. It'll be okay. I'm in a good spot. And they're like, no. The difference between those is you just get blown the up. And the other one is just you take a little bit of damage, but you're still fine.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And you also had a mech jump and then lose a leg or something. I don't know what happened because it happened off in the fog of war for me. I just saw a mech blow up.
Yeah. So I think it was my Jenner was hurting very badly, and he had been taking some shots. He'd lost one leg, and the other leg had lost its armor.
I think 2 Centurions had shot him
a lot, yes.
Repeatedly for multiple turns with entire alpha strikes.
Right, yes. Like I said, he's not doing great. His jump jets were still working, though. He had taken some heat damage last turn from an ammo explosion or something. I don't know. And so when I jumped away and landed, the heat was still above the red line or whatever, right? And so you take a little bit of damage, and it seemed like that damage chose to apply to the leg, the only leg he had left, and then blew it up. And if you blow up 2 legs, right, you're disabled, and that's what happened.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, so he jumped away to safety and then found out that the leg couldn't support his weight, and it blew up.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sad I didn't get to see him go after working so hard on it.
It felt very anticlimactic on my end. It's just and move it here, land. Oh no, there's an explosion. Boom, he's dead.
Yeah. And we also tried another game where we tried not taking full lances, because that is an option, which I am glad they allow to just try and play with point totals.
I want to play with one giant mech.
Yep.
And you can do it. How did that go, Andrew?
Man, your Atlas will take a pounding.
You could shoot at that a lot. Yeah, that was a really interesting look at really how much damage an Atlas can do if it just unloads on one mech. I think you blew up that, what was it, the Panther or whatever that I had?
A Panther in
almost
one shot.
Immediately. Yeah.
I walked up and basically destroyed another mech with melee. So it's worth its points, roughly. You just have to be real careful about getting in the damage fast, because once it loses it one arm, it's like down to running around headbutting people.
Yeah, and I hope that in the final release of the game, there's a little bit more ways to customize where on the mech you store the weapons.
Yeah.
I think obviously, like, you know, hard points and whatever, like, you're not going to be able to put anything anywhere, right? Like, you can't just stick all the weapons in the torso, like the center torso or whatever.
There was definitely an option I saw when we created our multiplayer game that you could not turn off yet. That said stock mechs only.
Right. And so you know, that implies the idea of like, okay, I love this loadout for this Atlas, but I really want to put the LRMs out on the hands so that if they get blown off, whatever, and then all the lasers and stuff in mid-body, so it's a little bit harder to get rid of them or, you know, whatever.
Yeah. That'll be interesting. I wonder if there's going to be a rebalance a little bit with light mechs, because I shot one of your light mechs, a commando, with a pretty good-sized medium mech, not an assault or anything, and melted it in one shot.
Yeah.
I think your commando.
Yeah, you did not do good. It's really hard to know. Like, did you get a crit on those, or like, did you hit like a very sensitive portion?
Yeah,
you know, it's hard to know. But the light mech, like the thing I have learned, right, is if your light mech is not like always evasive and always getting like as much of a movement bonus, you know, to dodge or whatever as you can every time, then like you're screwing up, right?
Mm-hmm. You're leaving it in the river,
right?
It doesn't need to be. It shouldn't be there.
Yeah, exactly. So like that was my mistake, at least in terms of what I was doing with that commando. But the tonnage difference seems to be very stark if you just put them like, you know, across a river from each other and just have them shoot at each other, right? The light one is going to lose like 99 times out of 100. Which
it probably should. It was just surprising to see like a full
it's just
commando
like
get shot from the right.
Oh, he's dead.
Oh, he went straight to the torso on that one.
Yeah. Especially because I know the game does pay attention to this stuff, but like armor differences from the side and the back as opposed to the front.
Right, and I did hit him from the side, so...
Right, so less armor there, so easier to punch through and then cause explosions and stuff, so...
It didn't seem quite clear to still... They did improve a lot of things. I don't know if you noticed in the targeting, now it definitely shows you're targeting the right side, like even on the paper doll. It highlights the right side now.
Like there are little like red outlines on the side or on the center or on the back side if you're targeting there. Yeah, and that was extremely helpful once I sort of realized what was happening up there in the like middle of the first battle.
Yeah, and some things are still a little bit unclear, like crits or like you can't move and still melee. Like if you're standing next to a mech and you have the melee option,
you have to choose the melee option as your attack option.
And your move option. You cannot move the mech and then melee, right? You can't like...
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So in some games you would essentially try to keep skirting to the left or right, to keep your back away from the other mechs that are moving around.
So at least in one instance when I was moving to melee, it let me choose where to position myself.
Oh, really? So did you click melee first and then move, or...
I think I clicked melee first, yeah.
Interesting.
And it gave me an option of where like I wanted to position my mech. But that mech had jump jets, so I don't know if it was the same for ones that have to walk.
I'll have to retest that, because that seemed unclear. My Atlas was standing in front of one of your knocked down mechs at one point, and I was trying to move it to the other side of your knockdown mech, because everything else that you had was moving behind my Atlas.
Right.
So it would be interesting to know if you have to click melee first and then get movement options rather than try and move, because it seems a little I guess it's intuitive in a way, but it's also not intuitive.
Yeah, it definitely at one point I clicked melee and then it said, you know, pick the spot you want to position on, and there were like two options on the like sort of front and left sides.
Go. Okay.
But I don't know how it works if you're already next to it. And like I said, is that only because I was jumping in from out of like farther away? I don't know. So anyway, it's definitely worth another try to see how it goes.
Yeah. Overall enjoyment is, for me, way up.
Yeah, that was really cool. I had a really fun time. I'm not good at that game, I think, is what I've learned.
I don't know. I kind of just parked some mechs and then just shot at you.
Well, I mean, it worked great. I don't know what you're saying. Masterful tactical decisions right there.
I tried the second game to get a little weird.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It was fun. Yeah.
So
very
props
cool.
to them. Every screen I look at in that game, I can tell there are tons of things that are being worked on that are related to it, right? Like you click on a mech to change the mech menu and you're like, oh, like you can like scroll through all the mechs and change them, but like there's stock loadouts. I wonder, where the non-stock loadouts are, or...
Actually, I heard that all those mechs are just stored in like a big like XML file, essentially, and you could just go in and edit them yourself if you want.
Oh, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So, at least in terms of this beta right now, I don't know how it will be in the final version.
That would make multiplayer interesting.
Hence the stock-only selection, right?
Gotcha.
But or maybe they'll have like a more customizable interface as well.
And I don't know if this was there last time, but the little mech bay icon on the main menu.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Or is that like a little teaser?
Yeah, I don't know. The interface and the menus and stuff continue to look cool.
We had a weird graphics glitch with the nighttime looking not so good as the daytime.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It just looked like everything was running like super low resolution or something during night. And then like as soon as we switched it back over to daytime, it's like, oh, this looks beautiful and how I remember it looking.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was like an issue with the nighttime shaders or just like it just looked bad on that map or what.
Well, it was fun. I had a good time. It sounded really good on the new speakers.
Oh, man. I bet all those explosions sounded amazing.
They sounded really good. And I was very happy with the smoke effects, too, afterwards.
It's like hover your camera over the smoking wreckage in the river.
Yeah, it was pretty great. So props to Battletech again, obviously. And I'm sure we'll love to play more as soon as we get some time. I haven't had much other time this week to...
I just wanted to say before we leave Battletech, we posted an article from Polygon on our Twitter feed, and people should check it out if they're interested in Battletech. Polygon is doing a series of stories about, they're calling it like the year of Battletech. So it's all about the new MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries game that's coming out and this game that Andrew and I were playing. And they go into some lore stuff and sort of like what's ahead for the Battletech as a whole, as opposed to just this game.
I'm going to do my best to give that thing props because that's an important series of articles. This series needs to come back with a vengeance. We need it.
Yeah, and it is very well written from the stuff that I read. So, and there's video of single player stuff from this game. So check that out.
Sweet. All right, well, I haven't had too much more time this week other than working on Bravely Default a bit. I did start up the Punisher series on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm engaged with and still watching and is good enough to get me to finish it. And we'll see how I feel about it at the end. There's some...
How many episodes is that?
I think
10?
It's 13. It's
13?
Longer than 10.
Okay.
But it's got some... I want to see how it is till the end, but I have some weird... there's some weird stuff about it, but I don't know how to comment on it unless I finish it and see if it goes somewhere.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll do an entire Netflix episode sooner than later here.
Yeah.
Because I would love to hear about that, and I think we have both gotten through the Stranger Things.
We do need to do the Stranger Things, so that'll probably be upcoming. And I also started up Animal Crossing Pocket Camp.
Okay.
Nintendo keeps bringing out these big games for mobile that everyone gets super excited about, and then
I've heard some stuff about this.
I have heard some stuff about this too, but I wanted to see it for myself because I keep trying their mobile offerings, and I liked Mario Run more than most people, I think. Probably because you just paid once and then you got the whole game, and then they keep bringing stuff out for it. But, Fire Emblem I kind of fell off of. I barely tried Miitomo. I wanted to see how free to play this is. This would be my first Animal Crossing game too. So,
I think, man. Okay, go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know that I have much more to say at this point, but it seems like a free to play game to me.
I have heard some stuff about this game. So for reference, I didn't like Mario Run that much.
Yeah, fair.
Not enough to buy it.
Okay.
I did like the Fire Emblem game pretty well, actually. I played that for quite a while.
I played it for a decent amount of time until I realized it's just the same as every other DNA game with a different skin.
Yeah.
It made me want to play Fire Emblem more, which is a good thing.
Yes, agreed with that. The Japanese mobile collection aspect of that game is what ruins it. The rest of the part of playing the game is actually quite fun. Yeah, so I played that for a good amount of time, and then I stopped. And so this game came out. I did not install it because I've never really been a fan of the Animal Crossing stuff. But I'm sad to hear that this was your introduction to the franchise, Andrew, because I've heard this is kind of not so good in terms of like Animal Crossing games.
I wonder if it will be the same as the others, where I'll go find a used copy of New Leaf after this to see the difference.
So I've heard that New Leaf is great. And the thing that the complaints that I've heard from other people is the things they like about that game or about Animal Crossing are that there's stuff to do in the town. You can walk around, you can talk to the other little animals, kind of visit and like, you know, dig up some fossils or go fishing or whatever. And there aren't as many fun side things to do in that game, the mobile game now, that don't just say, hey, pay us money to let this thing be ready again kind of stuff.
It seemed much the same as when I played Simpsons 3 years ago on mobile, which was another free-to-play like town builder game. And I was like, oh, this seems like the Simpsons thing with the Animal Crossing Nintendo skin on it. So I don't want to judge it too harshly with only having played like 15 minutes, but it doesn't seem good. So.
Yeah, people were really disappointed in the way the game didn't emulate the parts of Animal Crossing they liked and did emulate the parts they didn't like.
Gotcha.
So,
well, I'll give it a little bit more time and
I'll be interested to hear a full report.
Sure. Speaking of mobile.
Yeah, phones.
Phones. You know, there's a game that's on mobile that, man, I really wish they'd put Gwent on mobile. But the only option we have for cool card games
so bad.
Would be Hearthstone, which just got a release date.
Yeah, they are putting out the new Hearthstone expansion on December 7th. So this week from when you hear this, very soon.
Yeah.
And that is Kobolds and Catacombs, and I am still pretty excited for that. I think it's going to be fun. They've been revealing cards at a pretty steady clip. There's some wacky stuff in here, I can say. And, you know, I'm also excited for that single-player mode that they're putting out.
I am as well. I think I'm kind of unexcited to continue playing Hearthstone and keeping up with the card releases at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I did reinstall it on my phone when I saw the release date in order to try a full dungeon run.
Yeah.
Because I could see a world where sitting around opening up Hearthstone, I don't feel like playing on the ladder anymore. But those dungeon runs could be a great way to spend some time, especially if you're able to save your progress.
Yeah, I wonder what will happen.
Like an arena or something.
Yeah, I really hope that they allow that, because some of them, I mean, if you have to beat 8 bosses, which is what they made it sound like, or not, was it 9? 8 or 9?
Yeah.
I don't know. And that's a pretty sizable amount of Hearthstone games to play back to back, even if they're shorter games, you know?
And then add in all the time you have to like pick cards and
right, and then rearrange your deck and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it seems very fun, and like I said, we played that demo of it at BlizzCon, and I had a really good time.
Absolutely.
So I'm very interested to see where it goes. It doesn't sound like there's a lot of rewards attached to that. There's a card back attached to, I think, beating it with all the classes.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of it. But, I can see a world where that becomes kind of like the single-player thing that Hearthstone has that has never really had, right? Like the kind of like evergreen single-player mode.
It definitely had single-player mode, but I've never gone back to any of the single-player adventures. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them immensely when they came out. But once the challenge is over, once you get through the hard versions of them, it's kind of like, do I really want to go do that again? Not really.
A lot of them would be like, oh, you do it once right when it comes out to get the cards, and then you go back maybe a month or two later and do the harder heroic version, and then you're kind of done with it, right?
Yeah, so maybe this is their evergreen content. It would be interesting. I definitely installed just to try this out. So
yeah, and I hope they continue to expand on it, because if it's as fun as it was at BlizzCon, but just like a lot more of that, it would be a shame to see that mode just kind of sit there and kind of stagnate as new things and stuff gets added. So that would be a fun way for them to kind of keep a more evergreen single-player mode available.
Yep. Well, you know what will already have launched by the time people hear this?
What's that?
Xenoblade 2.
Yeah.
Do you say Zeno or Xeno?
I think I have heard people say it both ways. I think I have always said Xenoblade, but I don't really know what you're supposed to do.
Is it Xenos? Like an alien?
No? I don't know. Xeno. I don't know how you say it. I guess it could be Zeno. It could be Xeno. I don't know. I'm not an English major. I don't know how it works.
All right. But it's out. Are you going to play? You've got a Switch, right?
No, I don't have a Switch.
When did you order this Switch again?
Black Friday or the day after? So,
Suspect.
We're in the it's time for shipping delays portion of the year. So you can't really necessarily trust the ship dates on stuff these days.
Be aware. PSA from your friends at We Were Gamers.
Yep. Don't trust those Amazon ship dates. They're lies. So at least in terms of, I have paid for, I am going to pay for a Switch. It just hasn't happened yet. So, yeah. But yeah, I think I will play that game. Amazon allows you to purchase games at a discount before they are released for the physical copy.
Honestly,
I did that.
If you consider playing games in general that are physical copies and they're on a Nintendo system, it's almost a better deal to just buy them, pre-order, and have a Prime account, because you'll pay almost the same amount a year or two later on eBay to get a used one.
That's correct. Generally, Nintendo games don't go on sale very much.
Yeah.
So that's true. I was just going to say, if you really want to get serious about buying games new a lot, the Best Buy Gamers Club Unlocked is apparently the better deal. If you are willing to deal with Best Buy instead of Amazon.
I should go on a rant about this someday, but I don't give them my money.
I know why, and I think that's fine. But I have heard a lot of people on the internet really enjoy that, because you can apparently apply the discount, like the 20% discount, similar to what Amazon gives you, to all new games, and then it applies to a bunch of other stuff as well.
Gotcha.
And it seems like Best Buy is a little more permissive with what they allow you to apply that discount on.
Yeah, definitely Amazon has rolled back a little bit on what they allow the discount on, but you know what? I got that Amazon card. I'm getting that cash money rewards.
That's cash money is always needed. Andrew, I'm just going to derail this conversation completely right now.
Uh-oh.
Did you, because speaking of cash money, did you know that there is a real official DMX track of him singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
No.
Do you want to hear that right now?
Yes.
Here we go.
As an aside, am I silly to be interested in what Warhammer 8th Edition is doing?
No, man.
I'm considering buying the rulebook just to read it.
I'm interested now. I didn't know that was a thing. I want to know what that is.
Warhammer 40K just hit 8th edition this year. And they really changed the game completely.
When did we stop playing?
5th edition?
That sounds right. All right. Sending you a link.
Okay, here we go.
You know Dasher and Dancer, Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donder and Blitzen.
What?
But do you recall, what's that?
Is
the
there
most famous reindeer of all. Come on! Rudolph the
Isn't this amazing?
Had a very shiny nose.
Is there a...
What's that?
Is there a... What is that drum called?
It's like a snare or an
tin drum?
808 or something.
What are they called?
Oh, like a
Steel drum?
like a steel drum.
It's like a Jamaican steel drum under this thing.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I shout out to friend of the show, John Locke, who linked that on Facebook, and I saw it, and oh my god,
Wonderful. Oh, I needed that.
I have a Spotify subscription, and I didn't even know, and I felt I had been robbed all this time by not getting to listen to DMX sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I told Katie December 1, Christmas tunes in the car only. I'm going to enjoy this Christmas season because this year has been a tough one.
It's been a lot. There's been a lot.
There's been a lot. So I'm going to lean into Christmas as hard as I can. And I don't usually start listening to like Christmas music until like the day before, you know, because it's hard in Southern California. There's no snow. You don't get like Christmas feeling so much.
It's been cold at least. That's
I
unusual.
love the temperature drop after a 90-degree Thanksgiving.
It was hot.
Yeah. Hey, since you don't have a Switch, you might be interested to know that Square Enix thinks that the Switch is an amazing thing and you should have one.
Oh, okay. Did they plan to back that idea up with anything other than words? Are they going to make me ashamed of my words and deeds, or are they just going to like, you know, nah, here's some statements?
I believe what they've said is that, you know, the Switch redesign is going to make it really easy for them to basically port their back catalog over. So they're probably going to be moving everything onto the platform really quickly. And then they said they want to be proactive in creating IP and rebooting past titles. I'm kind of like, what? Thanks for coming to the game a little late here, Square Enix.
Yeah, you know, I mean, look, I don't think they're going to put like Final Fantasy 15 on this, right?
No. It definitely seems like they're going to like bring out, you know, a different version of Dragon Quest. Like they'll reskin it and call it something else, and that'll be their new IP, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, they got that Octopath Traveler thing coming too.
Right, that thing looked cool. It was very different from other stuff, kind of like a romancing saga kind of look to it in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, that's great. I'm happy for more people to make games on a system that I think Square Enix's statement should have been, man, Nintendo sure sold a lot of those. We would like to get money too. Because that sounds like what they're saying.
It seems like that they took 2.5 paragraphs in a statement to basically say, oh, dang, we were wrong on that Switch thing, and we have missed some money.
There sure seem to be a lot of those. I guess we'll go ahead and make games for it, is what the statement sounded like.
Come on.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. Great. Good. Wonderful. I'm glad they're making games for it. That's what I
think we all benefit from this, but it kind of gives you an eye roll that they have to make a statement that's like, hey guys, we're going to make some games. We didn't really put out all the things we thought we could on this platform, but now we will.
Oh, thank goodness you're going to make games. We wouldn't know what else you would do.
I can buy more Final Fantasy VIII re-releases on different systems. Great.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, as I think about it for today, did you want to, I want to talk about Dak Prescott for a second.
Okay. He didn't do that. He did pretty all right.
Fantasy football time.
This past Thursday night football game.
So in a week, you know, I've lost 5 games straight in the beer league.
That's not great.
No, it put me out of the playoffs. Literally, everybody has now clinched because I lost my 5th straight game. And I lost my 5th straight game after a negative 2-point week and a 3-point week from Dak Prescott. So I went out and grabbed Case Keenum, and now just Dak Prescott put up 18 points after I got thrown out of the playoffs. So I almost don't even care anymore. I care just enough to win my game next week Or the week after, no, the first week of the playoffs, so that I don't get a toilet seat. And
I was just gonna say you want to avoid that toilet seat now because you're in the danger zone.
Yeah.
If you're in the lower bracket, that first game is the game.
What a travesty of a season.
It hasn't been a great one. I will say that the product on the field has not been awesome this year, and not because there aren't good games that happen, but because the players that are fun to watch keep getting hurt, and it sucks, Andrew. Like, I think the quarterback play this season just fell off a cliff right after Aaron Rodgers got hurt. There were like 4 quarterbacks that went down in the span of a couple weeks right there, and now all of a sudden, like, all the games just feel like slugfests. It's so tough to watch.
Not enjoyable. I don't mean just from a fantasy football perspective. I don't know.
Right, I also agree. Not just from fantasy.
That I enjoyed watching much in the way of NFL this season. I mean, it doesn't help that the Broncos are terrible.
Terrible is a way to describe it.
Yeah, it doesn't help. But at the same time, I don't know that there's much enjoyment I got. I used to get a lot of enjoyment from watching NFL games, and I seem to be having a weird relationship with the NFL this year, and I don't know why. So that's my Fantasy Football Minute. I don't know if you have a weird story.
No, I don't really have any weird stories this week. I'm doing pretty all right in almost all of my leagues, and the league where I'm not doing that good, it's kind of going to just be over. So,
yep. All right. Yep. Well, for all of you who hate the Fantasy Football, it's almost over.
It's almost over. It's only like 3 more weeks, probably.
Yep.
Playoffs start in a lot of leagues next week, and the ones that don't start next week start the week after, and it's 2 weeks of that, and then it'll be done. So.
Yep. All right. Well, where can people tell us what Square Enix games they want to see on the Switch?
Well, they can hit up that Facebook, like, comment, subscribe, follow, all that stuff on facebook.com/WeWereGamers. They can get at us, literally the @ symbol, @WeWereGamers, and also on Instagram @WeWereGamers. You can also send emails to podcast@WeWereGamers.com, and we will probably read them and talk about them. And, you can send us hot reviews on iTunes and Google Play and wherever else fine podcasts are available.
Yeah. So maybe we'll do a little Netflixy thing.
Yeah.
Stay
I
tuned.
like Netflix.